It's hard to believe how much the American media left is trying to play down the extraordinary violence we've seen in Los Angeles since Friday, when immigration officials arrested illegal immigrants and a local Democratic politician summoned a mob to come confront them. Those officials came under a vicious attack. I mean, at times it looked like attempted murder, and at other times it looked like an insurrection by foreign nationals flying the Mexican flag. Here are some examples of that coverage.
The LA County Police say that they have it under control.
These agents are the ones provoking protesters and also making up, aggression by these protesters that later video shows people were not aggressive.
We are having an administration that's targeting peaceful protests.
You know, you've heard reports that there are riots on the streets of Los Angeles. That is not what's happening across the city of Los Angeles.
Governor Newsom's right. There wasn't anything like a riot happening.
I don't think the National Guard is needed now. Things in LA are calm.
It's just a bunch of people having fun watching cars burn.
Most of those demonstrations were very peaceful.
Doesn't the media often seem like organised lying to you? California's Democrat Governor, Gavin Newsom, he's now saying he'll sue President Donald Trump for sending in the National Guard to control the rioting. Trump, in turn, says his top border official, Tom Homan, could well arrest Newsom.
Gavin Newsom he's daring Tom Homan to come and arrest him. Should he do it? I would do it if I were Tom. I think it's great.
Joining me is Donald Trump's first White House spokesman, Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer, great to see you again. America in flames again. How did this one start?
You know, Andrew, that's a fantastic question. You're probably the only one in the media world that's asking that, because I went over this on my show today. Let me just take you down the road here. On Saturday, there was a Democrat assemblyman from California, and he saw ICE agents going into their office, into the fenced-in area where they work. They were driving their trucks, etc. And so he started to live stream it and said to folks, come gather in this paramount section of California that he represents, because something's got to be happening.
They're here on the corner at a business, Avalandra. It's called Paramount Business Center, right across from Paramount.
So hundreds of people came down to observe federal agents going to their place of work, okay? That's what started this. He gathered people because he said it looks suspicious. Now, I get why people in California think anyone working on a Saturday is suspicious, but the bottom line is they were just going to their office.
Yep.
And then what happened was, as the gates opened in this area where they keep their trucks, for the ICE agents, as the gates opened, they started to pelt the trucks with rocks, and they burned 3 cars on fire. Now, so to be clear, when people talk about the issue escalating, these individuals literally went to work. They went into their office and got into their cars, and that's what precipitated all of this. There was no action. There was no raid. There was no roundup. They literally went into the office, and a Democratic assemblyman from California got people all fired up because he assumed, because it was a Saturday, something must be going on. And their immediate reaction was,
so it's basically summoned a mob. You're saying he's summoned a mob.
Yes,
this Democrat politician
exactly. No, he summoned them up and then unleashed them. And then they threw rocks and lit cars on fire.
Now, the media coverage since, right, minimising what's going on, blaming Donald Trump for provoking it, and I think you've just had a very good counter to that argument. But the media coverage in particular, and that of some Democrat shills on the media, what do you make of it?
I mean, it's insane that Kamala Harris put her first comprehensive statement out since losing, and she talked about our immigrant neighbors. It's insulting and it's gaslighting. I'm the grandson or great-grandson of immigrants. Most people in this country, if you're not Native American, came from somewhere. There's a difference, though. They want to use language that acts like this is some innocent group of people. They are in this country illegally. They are attacking federal agents. They are not our neighbors, our friends. I don't, generally speaking, I don't know about you guys in Australia, but my neighbors, I don't throw stones at them. I don't light their cars on fire. They don't do that to me. Maybe that's just where I'm from, but generally speaking, that's not a neighborly thing to do. And yet the Democrats want to think that we don't see this, that we don't see them waving Mexican flags, lighting things on fire, throwing rocks at federal agents. They don't think that we see this, and they say it's mostly peaceful, it's contained, it's under control. These are our immigrant neighbors. They are our friends without papers. No, at the bottom line is every one of these people who ICE goes after is at the very least guilty of breaking the law when it comes to coming into our country illegally. Now, many cases, there's more laws that they've broken. But I don't know why Democrats continue to double down on stupid in this country.
I think part of the problem here, Sean, is that California has defied US laws for years, calling itself a sanctuary state. It's banned its officials from cooperating with federal officials trying to enforce federal laws on illegal immigrants when immigration is and should be a federal responsibility, because what one state lets in, the rest of the country inherits. So why does Donald Trump now want Gavin Newsom charged? Is it over this?
You know, this is where I think you talk about the malpractice of the media here in the United States. There's an issue that I've been bringing up for the last 24 hours that hasn't gotten much attention. It's one thing if it's a local library in LA or a police station or a park. These are federal agents and federal property. Donald Trump doesn't just have a responsibility. In fact, he has an obligation to protect federal agents and federal property. What makes this instance so different, and I know our media doesn't want to talk about this, is it's one thing to nationalize the Guard, and we have a very interesting system here where you can be a state guardsman. They call it Title 32. You report to the governor, or the federal government can call you up under Title 10. It's different U.S. codes. But the bottom line is that there is no question, zero question, that the president of the United States has the responsibility to protect federal agents and federal property. And when these individuals, because most of them, I don't know, were citizens, and that's the other thing they keep talking about, are citizens. From what I see, the number of people waving Mexican flags and saying, you know, F ICE and do all this, I don't think there are citizens. But even if they are, Donald Trump has an obligation to protect federal agents and federal property, and that's what he's doing. Had he not been doing that, he would be derelict in his duties.
If it hadn't been for this eruption of violence in California, we would be probably talking about Donald Trump's big bust up with Elon Musk. Elon Musk tweeting that the only reason the files hadn't been released of Jeffrey Epstein, the pedophile who's found dead in jail, is that Donald Trump's name would appear. Musk, in turn, Musk has also said that Donald Trump should be impeached. He's deleted those tweets, but this fallout between Trump and the richest man in the world who did so much to get Trump elected, how's that going now? What's happening here?
Look, here's the way I look at this. Elon, I think, didn't realize that he'd overstayed his welcome when it came to tweeting at Donald Trump. The people, the supporters in the MAGA movement are for Donald Trump, and he learned that the hard way. And I look at this, Andrew, like two bros, two guys who had a little fight, who are never going to apologize, but kind of have gone back to their own corners, quietly, you know, want to take the temperature down. And a year from now, we'll see each other at a barbecue and just going to go, hey, man, good to see you, and then walk away again. I don't know that the relationship will ever be back. In Trump world, it's never over until you die. I mean, there are so many people whose political careers have been resurrected after going after Donald Trump. So I never say never. We're at a good place. You know, we're not going to be hanging out at each other's houses. We're not going to exchange Christmas cards. But I think we're at a détente that'll last for a while.
Sean Spicer, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet, as always, Andrew.